In this video, I'll show you a tool named as DevToys. Now, if you want to know more about this tool, navigate to this URL devtoys.app, and here you will find a bunch of development tools which are basically helpful for day in day out activity for the developers. So it's a Swiss Army knife for developers. It's basically a desktop app that helps developers in the daily tasks. So the latest version is 2.0, and there are many items which are available, which are categorized based on, like, say, converters, encoders, decoders, formatters, generators, graphic, testers, text, etc. So as you see over here, it's like a suite of tools. Okay, it is open source and cross platform. You can do operations on JSON, YAML. You can encode or decode. You can integrate with it integrates with other systems. You can use it from a terminal. So there are more than 30 tools which are currently available within the dev toys. And if you want to know the source code and get the GitHub related details, you can navigate to github.com/devtoys-app/devtoys, and here you will get more information with regards to how the coding is done for that specific application. Now, in order to install DevToys, what you need to do is, like, you need to go into the Windows Store, and then or Microsoft Store, and then search for DevToys. Now, within Microsoft Store, if you search for DevToys, here you will get like couple of options. So there are basically two tools which are currently there for DevToys. So one is the DevToys, which is like a GA version, and another there is a DevToys or preview version. Now, the difference between both is DevToys preview will have more utilities within that compared to DevToys. So I have already installed DevToys. So let me show you the DevToys application. So DevToys application basically will contain various tools. Okay, so this is DevToys application. So as you see over here, these are like some set of tools which are available within the DevToys application. Now, if I show you another tool, which is DevToys hyphen preview, which has more set of tool compared to the DevToys. So as you see over here, this has got whole bunch of tools, and it is more comprehensive in terms of functionality. But some of the functionality may or may not work as this is in the preview version. So you need to take care of that. Okay, so that's the difference between DevToys and DevToys preview. Now, let me explain DevToys tool one by one. Okay, so on the left hand side, here you will see all the different utilities segregated based on the category. And here you will see the actual list of all the utilities. And then once you click on this particular on the left menu item, then that particular tool will light up. Okay, so let me just collapse everything and show it to you. So first thing, converters. So on the left hand side, you will see converters, encoders, decoders, formatters, generators, graphic, testers, and text, right? And then on the bottom left, you will see settings. Okay, so if you click on settings, here you can change the language, app theme, the spacing, check for the update, text editor configuration, and also about the DevToys tool versions. Okay, and then you can even manage extension from here. Okay, so that's where you can do all those settings. Now let's go jump into the tool quickly. So converter. So what is a converter? So within converter we have around 5 tools. So Cron Parser is all about generating that cron dates. Okay, now, cron expression, if you do not know about cron expression, I would highly recommend you to have a look into the content within the web. Now, cron, basically, it's like it comes from that Unix background, whereby if you want to schedule some activity or a task, and you need to specify the duration for that or the frequency for that, then how do you go ahead and do that? Okay, now cron expression is like, say, take for example, if I type in something over here, so I'll just say type star 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 and then star. So what does that indicates? It's like the cron description. It says every minute this schedule should run. Okay, now these schedules are generated. Okay, now as you see over here, Next schedule date. So here the option is 10. So if I want 5, it will generate 5 schedule date. Okay. If I want to generate 100 schedule date, it will generate 100 schedule date. So it's about generating that cron schedule date. Now, what does this indicate? 1 2 3 4 5. It indicates every minute. Now if I just change the first item to say 2, okay, or maybe I'll just say 2025, okay, and maybe let me just take it as say 2. Okay, now what does this 2 indicates in the first item over here? It's at 2 minutes past the hour. So every 2 minutes past the hour. So 9 2 is the starting time, and then 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to. Okay, so if you want to generate that schedule, then that particular order, then you put this expression. Now if I just put say 5 over here, it says at 5 2 p.m, at 5 at 5 2 a.m on every day. So if you see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can generate, and this particular item can be used to schedule that any batch job or any task which you have. Now if I put fourth, then it says on every at 5 2 a.m, so at 5 2 a.m on fourth day of the month, so it will generate that schedule. And similarly, I can type in 2, and it will say 2 means the year. So year, month. So year month is say 2 is February. So on 5 2 a.m on the fourth day of the month, second. So second month is February. So if I want to run it on July, I'll say 7, and then it comes July 7. And if I just put 1 over here, it says at 5 2 a.m on day 4 of the month, only on Monday and only in July. So 1 is Monday. So if I just say 0, or it will come as Sunday. If I put 6, then it comes Saturday, right? So this is how you can generate a cron expression. So that's about first tool. Let's jump into the second tool, date. Now this date converter, basically it allows you to see the date in different format. Okay, now how do you set? You first set the time zone over here, and then you specify, do you want a second, you want a ticks, you want a millisecond. So I'll just select I want seconds, and it will show you that there is no daylight saving in this timing. But then if I select Australia Eastern Standard Time, it says there is a daylight saving time, so you can set from that perspective. And then this is that number for the date. It all get aggregated. So if I say 235, if I just type in 237, okay, then the date changes, right? And it will show you the date in ISO 2601 format. You can specify the date over here, you can specify the month, you can specify the day and hour, minute, seconds, and then it will generate you that date number. So if your application is using that absolute number to understand or specify the date for the language, programming language, or the programming logic, then you can use this particular date converter. Then we have JSON array to table. Okay, so if you have a JSON array, you can type in that JSON array, and on the right hand side you will see that JSON array to table. Now somehow I saw that this particular tool was not working, so maybe in the later stage this tool may be working correctly. Moving on to JSON to YAML, here if you specify any JSON, so if I just put in some JSON over here and say, let me type in something, say name colon Girish, and it will create corresponding JSON value. So we have this JSON, and it will create a YAML equivalent of that particular JSON. Okay, so similarly, I can create an array, or I can, if it's a valid JSON, I can do, I can see the corresponding YAML as well. When I do a right click, I can format the document. I can change all occurrence. This is how the option which we see in VS Code, right? So I can have my whole bunch of JSON, and then it will automatically generate the YAML for me. So I do not need any specific tool for that. Now here I have JSON to YAML or YAML to JSON. So if I have a YAML, I can generate the JSON as well. So if I'm writing something over here, and I'll say salary colon 100, and then it will generate the JSON accordingly. And even I can do some action on the YAML code. Now, YAML code here, there are two spaces. So as you see over here, there are two spaces over here. But then if I want, I can increase the space to 4, and then in the output, as you see over, it is generated 4 spaces. Similarly, for JSON to YAML, I have this 4 spaces. I can put it for 2 spaces, and then it will accordingly adjust the formatting. Coming here on number base. So number base, you have this format number ticked on, and there's an advanced mode ticked on. Now, if I turn off the format number and if I turn off the advanced mode, then I can write hexadecimal value. So if this is my hexadecimal value, it will automatically generate, ideally it should generate, yeah, so it has generated the decimal, it has generated the octal, it has generated the equivalent binary. So if I just want to know what is FFFF, and this is the decimal equivalent, this is the octal equivalent, this is a binary equivalent. Okay. Similarly, in octal, like if I type in something over here, it will automatically generate the equivalent decimal, hexadecimal, and binary. Now, if you turn on the format number, then it will, as you see over here, this binary is now well formatted, right? Similarly, if I turn on the advanced mode, here I can specify the input dictionary, and within the input dictionary, I have different format like RFC 464 and base 1632, extender, base 64, URL encode. So if I type in all those different selection, then I can get the value accordingly. Okay, so if I just type in something over here, and then here you will see that you converted from base 64 to say URL encode, or base 64 to base 32, or if I just say base 64 to base 64, then it will give you that same number, but it is formatted. So if you remove the formatting, then it will be as it is, right? So this is how you can change the number base, right? Now, so that's all about converter. Then go to encoder decoder. So we have base 64 image. So if you have a requirement that if you have an image and then you want to say basically generate an like base 64 value for that specific image, yes, you can go ahead and do that. So let me see if I have any image. So let me go into my file system and let me grab some images. Okay, so I have some image. So I have a Australia flag image. Okay, so I'll just select and then I'll drag over here, and as you see over here, this is the Australia flag, and then this is the equivalent base 64 text. So I can um, open a text document. Okay, I can save this value, I can copy this. So there are a whole bunch of things which I can do. Similarly, if I just have a base 64 value, I can just say paste it over here, and then it will equivalently generate the image. And then you can even save the image, you can preview the image, and you can do a whole bunch of things from that. Base 64 text. So if you have a base 64 text, let me copy this base 64 text, and as you see over here, it has encoded that base 64 text. Okay, so this is that encoded version. And let me go into here. So base 64 text, so this is the base 64 text we have copied, this is the base 64 input, and this is giving you the output. Now if I remove that encoding, then it is like vice versa. So if you have the encoded version, then you can specify that, and it will say, oh, this is related to image. Okay, a JPEG image base 64. So this is like also a useful utility. Then moving on to certificate file. So if you have a cert file over here, and if you want to see the various, say you have a file of CER, CRT, PEM, PFX, so then you can go ahead and specify that. So I have one cert. Okay, so this is one cert file. So I'll just drag and drop the cert file over here. So I have .crt file. So this is a .crt file, and it will tell me what kind of certificate it is, what is the subject, what is the serial number, and those kind of things. Okay, Similarly, if I have say pfx file, so this is a pfx file, so if I just type in the pfx file, then it will give me the input over here. Now I haven't specified the password, and that's why it is giving me incorrect password in the preview. So that means if you have a crt, pem, pfx file, then you can actually see what does that file contains. GZip, so basically if you want to compress some text, okay, so if this is a text, so I'll just say this is a long text, okay, and if I want to now compress it, now as you see over here, you have an option to select compress and decompress. Now it has, like, automatically did that compression, okay, and then you will see that output over here, right? So similarly, if I just give some value, so some good things are here, and then it will, like, once you do that compression, it will give you that compression ratio as well, what is happening over here. So if I have a base 64 text, let's assume this is my data, and if I go to gzip over here, paste it, and then as you see over here, it has compressed to 18.2%. Okay, so similarly, you can, if you want to compress it, it will allow you to compress that. Coming to HTML, so as you see over here, there is an HTML text encoder decoder. So let's write some HTML. So if I just type in HTML, and then as you see over here, it has automatically generated the encoded or decoded version. Similarly, if you just turn off the switch, then it will, if you have the decoded version, then it will generate the HTML for you. Okay. Then we have JWT. So for JWT, say if I go to JWT, so JWT is basically Java Web Token. So if you have this site jwt.io, this is the encoded version. If you have this code, it will give you the decoded header, payload, and then the signature. Okay, so let me copy this encoded version, and let me go over here, and if I go to JWT here, if I just paste the token, it has automatically identified the header, it has identified the payload. Okay, so there are options over here, there is a decode option over here, so you get the signature value as well. Okay, so and then if you have a header, if you have a payload, then you can, you can paste the value over here in header, payload, and signature, and accordingly it will generate the token. So this is the header, so let me go into that JWT. So this is the header, let me copy the payload, so this is the payload, and this is the signature. So let me copy. So if I copied the signature, and then it has automatically generated. So let me show you here in the screen. So as you see over here, the moment I paste the signature, it has automatically copied it. So first what we did, we copied the token, and then we got header, payload, signature. Or alternatively, if you have the header, payload, and signature, it will give you the encoded value of the token. And then there are other token parameters which you can set. The token has an issuer, token has an audience, token has expiration, default time. So all those things can be set over here. QR code is again an important thing over here. Now many times you might see when you are in a desktop mode or the desktop application, someone gives you a QR code. Now it's very difficult to scan the QR code, right? Because if you have a mobile app, yes, you can scan the QR code, but if you are in a desktop and some presenter is showing you the slide and then it has a QR code, then how do we scan it? So first thing what you can do, you can scan the QR code using this particular tool. What you need to do, you need to just get an image. Okay, now as you see over here, I can scan the QR code, I can scan this QR code. So maybe I'll just pick up this value, window shift s, take the value, and then I got that value, and then I'll say paste, and then it will give you that same QR code. But if I let me go over here, so let me generate the QR code of this particular page, let's assume. Okay, so in Edge, if you want to generate a QR code, you just do a right click and say create QR code for this page. I'll just copy this, and then if I paste over here, then as you see over here, it has generated the text. So basically this QR code means navigate to this particular URL. And QR code is not necessarily related to URL. You can even generate your own QR code for any text. So suppose if I am this Girish Uppal Power Platform, so if I type this text, it will automatically generate a QR code for me. Okay, and then I save this QR code. So let me save this QR code somewhere. So let me save it in my desktop, and then it will allow you to save the QR code as a SVG or a PNG. So let me I save it as PNG. So I've saved that. Now if I want to drag and drop that QR code, so let me change this value something over here. Okay, and then it has generated this. Now if I have this QR code value, so girish.png, so let me drag this over here, and then once I drag in, this is the QR code, and then this is what the QR code contains. So you can use this particular tool. Moving to URL, so URL conversion can happen from here. So as you see, if I type in some URL, so https colon slash slash Girish Uppal. Okay, so if I type in this value, it will automatically convert, right? So girish.com, and then it has converted into equivalent encoded, like encoder and decoder, so it encodes and it decodes as well. So if you have this value, then you just copy this value and you can paste the value over here, and then encoded, and then if it's in a decoded mode, then it will give you that corresponding value over here. So like this, if I just let me show you another example. So let me paste this value, and as you see over here, it has given me the output. So this is that decoded value, and this is that encoded value. So this is encoded value. From encoded you get the decoded value, which is this website name. Okay, so this is also a handy tool. Then coming back to formatters, we have JSON formatter over here. So if you have a whole bunch of JSON code, you can go ahead and then you can format it as well. So let me see if I have a JSON file. So should be having one JSON file. So I have sample json.json. So I'll just open sample json.json, and here this is the JSON. Okay, and now here if I just paste this, it will basically give you the nice formatting. Here also you can format, so I'll just say change formatting, and then it will format on the input side as well. But in formatting there is an option, set JSON properties alphabetically. So as you see over here, John, Anna, Peter. So here I have an option, sort JSON properties alphabetically. So if it is first name, last name, and then if you have something else, okay, I can turn it on or turn it off, right? If I have this first name, last name, and then age will come first, and then like that way you can uh, format. Then we have this four spaces, one tab, minified. So if you want to get the minified version of it, yes, you can get the minified version of that JSON as well. Coming to SQL formatter. So if you have a SQL query, then it will even do that. So there is a standard SQL, MySQL, DB2, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, Redshift. So all these things are currently present. So you can even format your SQL query. I'm not going to go into that. Going to XML. So if you have an XML file, then you can specify. So as you see over here, let me see if I have any XML files stored. So let me say I have the sample XML. So let me copy the sample XML and then paste it over here, and then it will basically format the XML. So it will just format the XML, and then as you see over here, you can actually see the formatted value. Okay, so that's about XML formatter. Now coming to generator, so we have generator, graphic, testers, and text. So let me go into generator quickly. So you can generate the hash or checksum. So if you have some value, it will generate the output. So it will basically use different algorithms. So MD5, SHA1, SHA256, SHA384512. So it uses different checksum generator. So if you have that requirement, then you can use this tool. Lorem Ipsum. So if you want to generate a Lorem Ipsum text, and if you want to generate maybe say one word, sentence, or paragraph. So this is one paragraph. If I want to generate one sentence, one sentence. If I want to generate one word, one word. So let's assume if I want to generate uh, 5 sentence, so I can generate 5 sentence. Or maybe the requirement is to generate 5 paragraph, or maybe 100 paragraph. So for some bigger text, yes, it will generate that for you, and then you can copy that and then you can use it for your test activities. So, and it is not related to Lorem Ipsum, but there are other things over here: German, French, Lamas, Labutu, and then Hungarian, Spanish, English. So you can generate all those different kind of text. So if you're bored with Lorem Ipsum, use something else as well. Password. So this is about password generation. So this is like the password which has been generated. So if you want to generate a password, so I'll say I want to generate a password, and it will automatically generate a password. Now if you want to generate multiple password, it will generate say 12 password for you, or 100 password. So it can generate that. Now you can decide the length. If you want a password to be of length 4 or 5, okay, or maybe length 10, so you can specify the length. Do you want lowercase in it? No, I don't want. Do you want uppercase? No. Digit characters? No. Special characters? No. Excluded characters? And then it will generate. So I just want lowercase and a special characters. It will generate that, but I don't want hash in it. Okay, so I'll just say hash, and then here you will not even see hash. So this is how you can generate a password. So this is also a nice tool. Then UID is about globally unique identifier or unique identifier. So if you want the UID to be generated, so I want to generate the two UID, it is generated this. Do not want hyphen, so it will take the hyphen off in the equation. I want everything in uppercase, okay, so it will generate that. I want the UID version of 4 GUID, so this is how it will look. If I want hyphen, it will look something like this. If our UID version is 1, UID version is 7, it can generate accordingly. So if you have a requirement to generate the GUID, go ahead and do that. Color blindness simulator is all about how the image will be seen for different set of users. So if you want to test that, you can go ahead and test that. So if you have an image, so I have an Australia flag over here. So if I see this, it will look for a normal person like this, but then with protanopia simulation or deuteranopia or tritanopia, it's like people who do not see red, yellow, blue or green, it will look something like that. So it is also a nice tool to evaluate the images within your website. Image converter, you can convert an image. So I have a JPEG image over here, and I have copied the JPEG image over here. I can convert that to PNG, JPEG, TGA, TIFF, WebP. So those all things can be done using graphic. Then we have testers over here, JSON path. So there are other things if you want to understand the JSON fully. So if you want to test the JSON, here you can specify the JSON path, and then you get the test result. So if you want to see the cheat sheet, the cheat sheet is mentioned over here. Regular expression, who doesn't use regular expression? So regular expression is used to validate your email or XML, email or any text based value. So those things can be set over here. You can see the syntax over here. Similarly for XML, if you want to test the XST and XML, that you can do. Last but not the least, text. If you want to escape some characters, so then you can go ahead and use that tool over here. And you can even text escape or n escape. So here we have an option. You can compare the list, okay, the A or B, A and B. So those things can be done. You can see the markdown syntax over here. So as you see over here, this is in H1 and then H2. So this is how you can see the markdown preview. Then there are analyzer and utilities. So if I just type in my name, I can do it in lowercase, uppercase, sentence case, title case, camel case, Pascal, snake, constant, kebab. So there are a whole bunch of things, and you can even analyze the output as well. And the last, compare option. So if you have a text, multiple text, and if you say, let's assume you have a couple of codes and you want to compare, so you can copy in the original text, modify text, and then it will show you the difference whether it was added, removed or modified. So I've gone through very quickly in all the skills. I may cover some tool options in a separate video, but then just to give you a brief, that this is all about DevToys. If you haven't installed it, I would highly recommend you to install it, and then this will be your day-to-day tool instead of going into some third-party website and sharing the customer information on the website. This is a tool for you to make sure that you do your dev work properly. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.